we are ready to go.
Yes.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the special panel where we step behind the jury table at the Gerety Awards. And this year's winners weren't just about scale or technology, they were about restraint, precision, and above all, craft. And that raises the question, are we witnessing a shift in what creative excellence means today? And are juries rewarding understatement over spectacle, or is it just simply a recalibration after years of tech hype? And to unpack this, we have this amazing powerhouse of jurors who bring very different lenses, from creative strategy, agency leadership, and brand marketing, all of it together. So, let's roll and let's start with some of the campaigns that are there. Menika, do you want to talk about the L'Oreal one?
Thanks, Vinita. Super excited to speak about it. The Diary of Elon Speck. I actually thought that was absolutely beautiful because, in a sense, it picked up something that has existed, your worth it slogan, something that's existed forever, and actually went back and recognized the person who created it ever so many decades ago. And L'Oreal, by bringing something today, everyone's trying to do the latest, the new, the everything. But by being able to pick that and create that one video, I think they won in the online video category, but that one long film that actually spoke about it is absolutely beautiful. It keeps you engaged throughout. There is humanness in the story, and it's made the brand relevant again on the back of something that was created so far back in time.
I just want to add
And do
over
you think it's
here.
also,
Sorry, I
yeah,
just want to add that, the words "I'm worth it," they're so powerful. I'm saying, we live in a time where there's so much, there's life coaches, we're being told to, how to lift ourselves. But to have that awareness as a woman at that time, and I'm saying when you say these words, I'm worth it, and when you tell another woman, I'm worth it, I think that says everything. That shared experience of being a woman comes just in those three words, four words. So if you just say, I'm worth it to yourself, or you're talking to a friend and say, look, you're worth it just holds so much. And like Manika said, that bringing the story out just brings the relevance of life, a life so beautifully lived, so powerfully lived. So I mean, I was seeing the film and I'm like, God, I wish I had this kind of a mentor, starting out my career. So yeah, I mean, lovely piece.
Yeah, you know what I liked about it? The fact that this is a smart woman who coined such a timeless line. I'm worth it. Like, it's sad, and it's for, I don't know if it the fact that it's still relevant, and the fact that people still have to use it for women, that to assure them that they're worth it. Like, women need to tell themselves that we're worth it in such a day and age. I think she was such a forward thinker, and it was such a nice film to celebrate her. I think it was absolutely brilliant for me.
no, you're absolutely right. And given the fact that even today it resonates, okay, it lands with so many people. And there is yet another campaign, which is a price packs, which suggests, if you were talking about social commentary, that also suggests that design can deliver social commentary. So if I were to throw it out of you, how do you weigh the line between empathy driven creativity and brand opportunism while selecting which are the best work?
I
Menika,
have being from the client side, I have a comment on this. For the longest time, I think all clients believed that only empathy and social driven campaigns would be award worthy, right? But I think in the past few years, we've come to notice that, creativity can also be functional. You can't just not social commentary is not the only thing that you can be creative about, or social impact campaigns are not the only things that you can be creative about. You can be creative about things which are so functional, like the fact that they were able to print their prices on their packaging means that they are committed to giving those prices for the longest time, right? It's the most functional thing that you can think about. lowest
Yeah.
price, right? So pricing is the most functional, most tactical thing that a client or can think about, and doing that so creatively, I thought that was such a mind-blowingly creative concept. I would, there are certain campaigns that you're jealous about. I wish I could do it. I wish I was the one who was leading this from the client side, because absolutely brilliantly done. I mean, functionality, creativity, there's such a nice balance between both of them. I thought it was really nice.
All right.
For me, Vinita, you said opportunism versus empathy-driven creativity. I don't think it's a versus in this case. It feels like it came in beautifully because there was empathy for what the audience was going through, the impact of inflation on their lives and all of it. And the empathy came from there. And more than opportunism, it was the brand actually leveraging that opportunity, figuring out a way to deliver that value to consumers. So the empathy meant they heard them and they actually provided such a simple solve. The beauty of the idea also for me is its sheer simplicity. You see a lot of things that are promos and everything, but they just put the price up there. And it was so simple. And I think sometimes the most beautiful piece of work are the simplest. And the price packs kind of did that for me.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
it was so clever. It was, I mean, it's like the idea was literally sitting right there and they thought of it. So, and when you talk about opportunistic things, I think if it works for the greater good, then it's okay. It's there's not a brand has to sell, and they took the simplest idea and turned it into something so beautiful. Imagine for the consumers, what a joy. You have the
All
price
right.
right there. You know exactly what you're getting. In a time where there's so many things out there, and you're always wondering, is this the correct thing? Is this should I buy this? Should I not? Weighing out all your options. They just cleared that all out. So
All right.
I've worked in retail for a very long time in grocery retail, and I think this was the being creative with pricing is the most difficult thing to do. Because slashing prices is something which is very normal in all creative, in all retail, grocery retail outlets, and slashing prices is probably the only creative thing that maybe you can do it in a different way, but that's the only way you can show people that you're consistent with pricing and you're slashing off, you're a value driven brand. But I think printing it out on, like Kopal said, 100% agreed, it was sitting right there and nobody thought about it. That's why I'm really jealous that why didn't I think of it? It was sitting right there in front of us that you can just smack it on the packaging, and you can be the most trustworthy with pricing. You can position yourselves as the value driving retail, grocery retail outlet. Like, I mean, how simple can you be? So I really liked it.
If I could just add one thing there, one of the things is when you print it on the pack, we all know the lead times when it comes to putting packaging out of the market. It means the brand is committing to stay at that price point for at least until they finish that entire print line. And that in itself is a commitment at a time when prices keep changing on a daily basis almost. You look at the basic goods that we buy today, and prices are constantly fluctuating. But this is kind of like a commitment. It's not possible to score out the MRP at the back and do something. It's your entire packaging. So I think the brand's also going out on a limb and making that commitment for a foreseeable period of time.
And I played it in my head how it would have been in the boardroom with where the marketing team is sitting, and there are other salespeople sitting, and they're saying, "Oh, this is not going to work because what if the prices go up? What are you going to do then?" But I think this is a risk worth taking. That we're committed to these lower prices for the till, like Menika said, till these print ends, and till we can change packaging again. I think the commitment there shows the creativity in this idea, which I really like.
So all of you all mentioned this very nice word, simplicity, and Gopal, you also use the word cleverness. You said that the entire thing was very clever. Now, if you look at awards, right, a lot of awards, they often favor the big idea work. And when you're sitting also, like you mentioned, when you're sitting in the with the clients, the sales team might probably diss an idea and say, okay, this might probably not be very sustainable in the long run because we might change prices. However, now increasingly one is seeing that craft categories are beginning to gain a lot more visibility. So I'm just going to ask all of you, do you think that now craft is finally being valued a lot more than executional polish? Who wants to go
I
first?
think I jumped right in. I don't know that craft ever went away. Even if you look at years gone by, there are always examples of work which was extremely high on craft. Then there are things which are extremely simple and it's possibly very execution driven as well. There are things that won the previous year where, projects that seem just so simple to do and intuitive, and they've been able to do it, which may be more execution heavy. But there are cases where the craft films actually, or the craft pieces work well. So I feel like it's always been both that see their time in the sun. This year it's interesting though that all the pieces that have won Grand Prix have been craft pieces, at least at the Gerety. That's a very interesting thing. And when I looked at the Grand Prix winners, what you're saying came to life because you rarely see that. This time it feels like at some subliminal level, everybody has gone towards that because there is the beauty in what we create. And maybe at some level, that is what we're all seeing value in more today, given everything that's happening around us as well.
And see, also when you say craft, what do you mean by craft? Because you said craft and executional polish. Executional polish is craft, and craft is not just in the making of something. Craft is in the writing of it. Craft is in the idea of it. So, what Menika said, craft has never gone away. Craft comes to us in different ways. Penny's craft is in the simplicity and cleverness of its idea. Senna's craft in putting that, I mean, of course, mind blowing, and how they put that story together. Um, the L'Oreal film's craft is in her story. So there is some craft in everything that we do. Yes, the one in the craft category, that's besides the point, but there is craft in everything we do, and that's the essence of the creative business. So
I'll tell you what I mean is that, a lot of times clients often deprioritize production craft largely to cut costs, because almost all of them are now they're pulling back on their budgets. So this year, it seems as if the conversations between the agency and the client might be signaling they are willing. I mean, the very craft, when I'm talking about the entire end result that is there, and also the kind of awards that are being won, it shows that at the end of the day, like you said, the L'Oreal story, talking about the lady who coined the phrase and how it still has a certain amount of relevance in contemporary times. And even putting the price on taking a bold move like putting a price or Senna's cut, which one for editing precision. That kind of craft seems to be taking a step forward. Do you think so?
I think Vinita, I think that I agree with Kopal and Menika as well that this craft never went out of fashion, right? I just think that it is just proving to be more important than clients suggested that it would be. I think being from the client side, I've been working for a very long time, and we since the start of my career, there was we used to talk about, oh, how we can, it's okay to get like an average editor for the film, or it's okay to cut down on art direction a little bit just to cut down costs. But I think that it adds to the impact of the entire campaign, not just the film. So it craft, like I agree with the two ladies, that it never went out of fashion. I just think that it is proving to come into the forefront more than it used to. But I don't think there's any good campaign without good craft. So if there is no good craft, a good campaign, a good creative idea can really be done in a very wrong way if the right craft is not used. So I'm a big proposer of and a supporter of good craft, and using the right kind of people for it, and the right kind of craft for it. So yeah, I don't think that it never went out of fashion. I just think that people are now knowing the importance of it.
All right. So, taking the same thing ahead, you also had the other winner, which was Never Just a Period, right? Now, that particular work, it shows that even taboo themes can win top craft honors. So, do all three of you feel do you all firstly believe that awarding such work can accelerate the industry's willingness to take risks on sensitive topics? Or is it again still a niche?
Can I answer this from the client side point of view? I think it is still a very big risk to come into campaigns like this, especially for countries like us, India and Pakistan, and all of these people, all of these countries where taboos are held more important than education of them. I think it is. I think still big risks have to be taken, and I think still on the client side the brands don't take as much risks as they should take to come up with campaigns like never just a period. So I think it's important for the brands to take. I think creatives take that risk. I think the brand side does not take that risk. I think they need to be bolder than. I mean, we're going towards the right direction, but I don't think we're still there. I think we still need to be bolder than what we are today.
Okay. Kopal, what do you say?
I'm going to agree with Rifa on this one. I feel Never Just a Period is a brilliant film, and we see a lot of work within advertising, which is work for good. But I think there's a reason there's a category called work for good, because we understand that it's niche and it
Yeah.
doesn't. Never Just a Period has been successful at an idea level and also at an execution level. I think it's this beautiful marriage which came together, which made the film an undeniable force. You could not ignore the film, you know. But on a as we shoot and we do our everyday clients and how we work with it, I think the primary job of advertising is to sell. So they first look at that. It's at selling. And how do they sell? The brand story or the brand image becomes, at least from what I have seen, yes, some brands try to carry it through the year in their campaign. Some brands have an image to do it, but otherwise it becomes a little reserved for like Women's Day, Mother's Day, like that. The brand image is reserved for these functions.
Yeah.
So. And I mean, some people do call it out now, saying that, oh, through the year, this is what your voice is and what your image is. And others do. Um, but yes, this brand, of course, Body Form they can take this as a stance and they can take this as their image, and that's worked beautifully for them. It's a very happy marriage as far as I'm concerned.
So, the way I see it, absolutely agree. The agency team, the client team, everyone has to be willing to go out there and do it. But the way I see it, it is our job. It is what we're here to do in a sense, right? Great communication, great advertising has the power to create change in society. That's what we want to do, positive change. And this work for me really does that. They've done it consistently. So Body from Your Dress have done it consistently over the years. And they have unpacked a lot of the taboo in the markets that they operate in. And kudos to them for having done it. This is work I wish I'd done because I feel very strongly about anything to do with women's empowerment, bringing these conversations out into the open, all of that. And I think here they've won it in the art direction category. And it's beautiful because what they've done is they've taken a taboo topic, they've taken stuff like blood and stuff and everything. And the way they have created it, it takes all of that aches feeling that a lot of people tend to have. They've removed that completely. The music, the art has made it a lot more digestible for everyone else. And I think that is the beauty of this campaign. It's amazing what the brand has done consistently, but this particular film for me does it in spades just because of how they treated a really difficult subject and made it so palatable for everyone.
All right. No, you're right about it. No, so now I'm going to move on to the other 800-pound gorilla in the room, which is tech, or rather AI, as everybody likes to club it together. So, much of this year's winning work, it seemed as if it resisted tech gimmickry, if I were to call it that. And, the winners, they seem to lean a lot towards cultural depth and craft, okay, rather than novelty, tech novelty, that is. So I wanted to understand from you, ladies, how do you see the balance between storytelling purity? Because you just mentioned about it, Menka. and the industry's obsession with AI driven efficiencies. So, during the entire judging process. So, maybe Menka, since you just ended with that, you could only take it from here.
Sure. So I think the two are complementary, Vinita. There is the depth, there is the idea, there is the creative, and then there's efficiency and optimization that AI enables. And I don't think, at least now, and I hope we don't ever see that happen, that's going to go away. Because if you only operate on efficiencies and delivering on that, you're not going to be able to really connect with the consumer, right? And make that happen. All of the ideas that we've seen win have that connection. They have that ability to drive behavior on the part of the consumer, and that's what makes for great work. AI can help you deliver it faster, deliver it better, deliver it, at scale. But you need this, and I think that's what we're all going to continue to do as time continues and AI keeps progressing.
Yeah, one thing that I think this is a question that has been asked again and again and again, that if what does AI mean? Like, does it mean the death of the advertising industry? Does it mean a death of craft? Does it mean death of good good nicely done campaigns with humans in it? I don't think so. I don't think that AI can ever take over completely. But yes, I think what AI will be doing is it will be taking over mediocre work. So your everyday efficiency, mediocre things, just to drive efficiency, and like Menika said, just to drive efficiency, to get results faster and quicker. I think that's where AI needs to step in, not to take it. It is never going to replace human beings or the art or craft of it or the creativity of it, because machine learning is also learning from human brains, and human brains are, I think, are the most powerful if used correctly. I don't think that that's ever going to happen, but I do understand that we're at an inflection point right now. So we're when the internet came in and there was Y2K, if you remember that, oh, everything's just going to blast off and everything's just going to end. I don't think it's just going to get better. I think it's going to become make processes more efficient, and do it will take over mediocre work. That's what I foresee it as. So if anybody else has any other thing, so
I agree with you. I mean, it does, it will take over mediocre work. See what AI can or cannot do. We can't comment as much because AI is evolving right now. So eventually in the future, what AI can do, we will know. We don't know right now. We can only hope that the purity of storytelling gets, stay sacrosanct. It's not affected by it. For now, it is a tool like any other tool that we have in our craft. But can it do storytelling? No, it can't. The process of storytelling, I'm a director, so when I come on set, it's not just yes, it is my vision, but I collaborate with a cinematographer. That person brings something to the process. There's an art director, that person brings. And then finally, when I'm on set, I have an actor. Now I can come on set with, this is how these emotions are going to run. And he's like, but I would like to feel a little like this as well. I'm like, okay, let's try this. And this is when magic happens. Now, if I start prompting and just do that, and I take top line emotions of the world, there will be a sameness in anything I create or anybody else creates. You can make it look different, but at an emotional level, everything, a sameness comes. And that sameness is coming in us. In any case, sameness is coming out because we're all on Instagram and everything, our language, everything, a sameness is coming. And now you'll put this sameness on human emotion. And the thing is, we are amazing because of our differences. Because if I meet Menika will have a perspective and I'll have a perspective, and we'll explore our perspectives and we'll come to the conclusion that, hey, this is how I should feel. So it would be a sad day if we kill that. And I think as an advertising industry, because what's happening right now, it's panic. And I'm telling you this on the production side, there's panic this side. Everyone's like, I'm going to be obsolete. Music has gone AI. This is going to happen. That is going to happen. So, you have people who are like completely resistant of it and saying, no, 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 no AI. And then you have another lot of people saying, get onto it or get out of this, And then you have this little band of people saying, hey, listen, technology is here. We can't stop it. can we work with it? And how do we work with it? Does this give me more time to focus on the things I need to focus instead of sitting and referencing and trying to come up with an image that I should show a client or stuff like that? I mean, this is something I tell all my clients that I work with. I said, at every stage of the process, your film gets more beautiful. You'll come to me with a script. We'll jam on it. We'll do a PPM and we'll show you a vision. We'll shoot it. Something different happens. And then an edit, something completely different happens. The music reference you thought of is not on it. Something else comes, slap on, film's banging. So, so yeah, I think we should be very conscious of how we use it going forward.
So, keeping in mind this kind of a creative pendulum swing that you just spoke about, Kobal, right? And now, when you were judging, all three of you were judging the various entries that were there. I'm guessing there were quite a few of them which were also tech based. So, how did each of y'all bring your unique perspective to ensure that this sameness was not there? Because it's very difficult, especially now with the kind of homogenization that is coming out with the work, to pick and choose something which is so innovative, so inventive, and which is not something which is not run of the mill. So, how did you bring that uniqueness to the table?
See, Vinita, the thing about the beauty of our work is it has to connect with you. The sameness goes out on its own. It's not a conscious thing that, oh, this is feeling similar. You may have things which have similarities, but you could like both of them. Oh my God, they did it so nicely and they did it so nicely. But the thing is, all the pieces of work that we're seeing are connected with a group of a diverse jury across the world. And they all came to the conclusion, oh my God, this connects with me. There is so much diversity within the work which has won. Within our Grand Prix, within the work which has won also. Did we see some tech-based stuff? Yes, it was fun. It was interesting. Some of, they use AI to collect. I saw it a lot in collating data. AI helped you, like there's this ad on the washing machine and stuff like that. But eventually, a film just has to connect with you. The day AI can do that, great. But for now, it's not doing it. So that's
Yeah,
my.
I agree with Gopal. I don't think that this is a conscious effort that, oh, how do we separate sameness, and how do we, take out the uniqueness of it. I think it just stands out to you because human emotions connect well, right? So I don't think that this was like I can talk about myself. I did not make an extra effort to make sure that similar things don't come out. I think it's just that two similar things could be great, done differently. Two similar things, by the way, could be really bad as well. So it is not a conscious effort. I think it's something that stands out and resonates with you as a person. It resonates with you as an understanding, as a marketeer. I think that's what stands out the most. Something that resonates with you as an individual. I think that's why you don't have one jury person. You have different kinds of minds from all over the world sitting together, and then they come up with things. And also, by the way, there are certain, I remember, I know for a fact that there can be some certain Grand Prix winners in certain shows that you think like, why did this win? It might not resonate with you as a person or a marketeer, but it maybe resonated with 30 other people. So I don't think I think this is something that AI cannot do. It cannot create that feeling of uniqueness, and that feeling of connectivity. I think that's what AI cannot do right now. That's why we're humans. And I think that's why AI cannot take over 100%. I'm a firm believer of it.
Okay, Melga, over to you.
Yeah, the way I see it is each of those pieces that we've individually picked, and ultimately it's when all the jurors pick it that it makes it to a Grand Prix. But what we've picked is stuff that made us think, oh my God, there's an aha there. There's some kind of a eureka, or it's prompting some kind of behavior reconsideration for me. That's the way I look at work. And when I look at all that's one, it's the kind of work that seems to have done it. Not just the Grand Prix, but even if you look at the golds and the silvers, etc. It's that. And that's where the beauty of unearthing that insight or figuring what really makes the consumer tick and creating something comes through. And it could happen through a text-based intervention, it could happen through great storytelling. But if it doesn't do that, then the work isn't worth its weight.
All right. So we are at the end of the session. I'm just going to ask each of you. There's a very standard cliched way of trying to tie it up. But what was the highlight? If you could just sum it up, maybe in a single sentence. And let's go with you, Menka. You could probably start, and Rifa, you could pick it up from there. What was the highlight of the judging process?
I loved the debate that we had. So I think the grand jury had gotten together and there were sessions where we discussed the pieces and looked at whether the rankings made sense or if you needed to, re-vote or weigh in on something. That was really great because people across the APAC region had met and we had heated conversations about the piece of work. And I think hearing some of those perspectives allowed me to look at things differently as well because the joy of the entire serving on a jury is hearing others' perspectives as well, and therefore forming a more rounded opinion for yourself. To me, that was the standout.
Okay, Rifa?
I think it was all the great work that we got to see. For me, I think being in a jury is always is a great learning process for me. What I can do differently as a marketeer. I think as an individual, I think it teaches me a lot. Campaigns, their insights, things that are, for example, like we discussed, things are so simple in front of you and you don't pick it up. So I think for me it is the fact that I really enjoyed all the different kind of work that I had to go through and I had to read through and I saw and I judged and juried. I really love doing that, and I look forward to more such experiences in the future. So thank you, Gerety, for choosing me.
Gopal, what about you?
So for me, the highlight was so typically because I'm an ad filmmaker, when I do I've done previous juries, I go into like a film category or a film craft. But in Gerety, I was given all the categories. I mean, I was in fact not given so much of film. I was given effectiveness, communication, print. So for me, it was actually like a really fresh experience because I don't get to see this side unless I consciously go into onto YouTube and look for case studies or this film one and all of that. So for me, it was like a treat because I was like, oh wow, this is how the print people are doing it. This is what's happening. This is what consumer things are happening. This is how marketing is happening. So for it was really like I was like a kid in a candy store, like, oh, every piece was a surprise for me. It was like, what do I choose? It's all good. So so yeah, I thought it was extremely cool for that to happen. So and that really made Gerety so memorable for me. So yeah. And thank you, Gerety. Yes, thank you so much. It was such a it was like always a yummy experience. Oh, I got to see the films now. Let's see that again.
All right, great. Thank you so much, for sharing your perspectives and also your insights about the entire judging process. And I'm glad that all of y'all had a great time, as jurors. And I do hope that you sign up to become jurors for the upcoming ones also. And the learning continues.